For years, we've been told comic books are pop culture. Comic books are not pop culture. Comic books are culture.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. Eisner approved, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
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 Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Del Bush.
Dal.
Del. Del.
Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
I feel like this is going to be a little echoey.
Maybe. It's different acoustics in the podcastatorium.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
This episode of Contest of Challengers, which is coming to you late by a little bit, maybe longer, depending on...
For a second, I thought you were going to say live, and I just thought, it's not how any of this works.
No.
None of this is coming to you live. It's all pre-recorded.
It's coming to you later than normal, but might even be later than that, because as of right now, there is a nor'easter headed to where we are, and it might push planes back.
Yes, and might cause Contest of Challengers hosts Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush to take alternate modes of transportation to get back to Chicago from New York.
New York City?
We are in New York City. I used that when I was the GIF of someone saying he gets this also from New York City. New York City? When I was telling some people online that I was in New York City.
We're in New York City.
We're in New York City.
It is the tail end of the New York Comic Con.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yes, and I was looking for Daredevil this whole time. I couldn't find Nelson and Murdoch attorney at laws.
Daredevil?
No.
Irony.
I couldn't find Nelson and Murdoch's law office. I couldn't find where Jessica Jones has her office. Is that also Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah, it is, I think.
Yeah. Found a lot of bagel stands, though.
Which is great.
Yeah, Dal never had a New York bagel before.
The devil likes his bagels. I'm not a bagel guy generally. Patrick is somebody who goes to the Great American Bagel Shop on a regular basis, not nearly as often as he would like to.
Do you know what's ironic about that?
They don't have them here?
No, it's been a year. It was last October I found the one in West Loop.
But we were out, to dial it all the way back, Patrick and I are the guests of Repop at the New York Comic Con. And in our neighborhood, we're in a hotel that had a really good breakfast place on the 4th floor. So for the first
the Green Fig
2 days of the show that we were here for mornings, Thursday and Friday, we did breakfast at the Green Fig, once with guests. And then the next day just by ourselves before we started the show. And then Saturday...
David Harper from Off Panel and Sketch.com. Yep. We had breakfast with him and his wife on Thursday.
The fabulous and... well-known amongst fans of Sketched, Amber.
And then also almost with famous cartoonist Art Balthazar and Chef Cordy.
But the Saturday that we're recording this on, we had decided, one, to completely avoid the New York City Comic Con as much as we possibly could, due to it being almost unnavigable for us Chicago boys Thursday and Friday, the slower days of the show. So that Saturday seemed like it would be right out of the question. So we decided to venture afar into the city and try and find a good breakfast place. And I looked around a little bit because Patrick was white. And I thought, okay, well, I know Patrick's a bagel guy. New York.
Is, yeah.
Not really well known for their bagels, but I thought maybe they got a good take on it. So I found a bagel place just around the corner. I'm going to look it up. Broadnash, something like that?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Broadway, Broad Dash, Broad Bagel.
Bro Bagel. No, wait, that's in Chicago. So we found
owned by Peace.
What I thought was a good place, but we went to it, and it was a Saturday around like 10 or 11 a.m., which means it was completely packed. I mean, packed. Yeah. They had a few like places you could sit and eat, but those were completely taken, and
all sorts of people circling with their
everyone
bagel
just
sandwiches.
Waiting for a shot. So if you were at the New York Comic Con or really any Comic Con. When you get your food in the food area and you're looking for a table, this was that times 100. There was no place to sit. So we bailed on Bro something.
Broad something.
And on the opposite corner, there's like, oh, here's a different bagel place. Let's just go to this bagel place.
Who would have thought that New York had 2 bagel places?
They must have just opened.
If I may quote Earl, it's an embarrassment of riches.
It's an embarrassment of bagels. So we go across the street to the second bagel place, and that one equally packed, and also way less seating to even begin with. So it's like, okay, well, hey, 2 doors down from there, there's a diner. It's not bagels, but it's a diner, and it looks like we can sit down. Here is the line that's already out the door waiting to be seated. And so it's like, okay, this is just, you're in New York, it's Saturday morning, everyone's everywhere. Fine.
We didn't go to the conventions because we didn't want to face crowds and lines.
Deal with lines and crowds. So then we just decided, all right,
let's go back to the first one.
Let's go back. If we have to be inconvenienced and we can't sit down, let's at least go back to the first one that looked like the more celebrated and authentic bagel place. So I got a bagel sandwich because that's what you get at these things. You get a bagel sandwich. Patrick also got a bagel sandwich. And in lieu of sitting or standing any place inside, we went into a nearby doorway.
Because it was raining.
And ate our bagels.
Here's what fascinated me about that place.
Yeah.
As someone who goes to a bagel place in Chicago all the time,
sure.
They serve their cream cheese, they sell their cream cheese in little plastic containers.
You mean the one that you go to normally?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Like, let's say, 8 ounces, 12 ounces maximum, right?
Okay.
This place we went to had, and Great American Bagel has a large selection of cream cheese flavors.
Okay.
This place had like 3 times the amount of choices.
So many varieties.
And I can't even describe this other than to say it's the mashed potato scene from Close Encounters.
Yeah, literally a mountain coming out of each bowl.
They just had these giant bowls of cream cheese in this glass case. And like Dal said, they're a mountain.
Yeah.
They were so big, and they were replacing them
and
constantly.
The bowls they were coming out of were also massive to begin with.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, 10 pounds of cream cheese at a shot.
Yeah.
And all these different flavors. And
Patrick asked how many of them can he get to go, and they said, no, these are just for display.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. Seems like the bait and switch.
I also did not see a chocolate chip variety for the record.
I didn't even look. I just got my bagel sandwich.
I looked. One of the things that's prevalent in New York that we really don't have that much of in Chicago, or definitely not homemade really, is
New Yorkers.
Black and white cookies.
Yeah.
And I'm finding them all over the city
here. That's kind of a well-known New York thing, and Patrick immediately bought a black and white cookie, the first one he found, and then we have since seen them in basically every place you could conceive.
So I was buying it for my sister Karen as a I don't know if it'll survive the trip because it's a soft cookie.
Sure.
But I bought a prepackaged one at CVS, and then I found we were at Carlos's bake shop this morning. No, first we were at the bagel place, and they had
black and white cookies.
Yeah, but also like I don't know if they make them but they were still like
they were packaged.
Yeah. Then we were at Carlos's Bakery, a famous cake place
in Times Square.
Yeah, and one of their slogans is "You want a piece of me?"
It's got a
which is great.
Piece of cake on it.
Yeah,
it's cute. It's good wordplay.
And they had their own ones there. I'm like, oh God, do I buy another one here? How many different black and white cookies am I bringing?
What would I even do with 2 cookies?
It would be 3. And just because I want the one I give her to be more authentic and New York made and less processed.
Even though you have no idea, I mean, obviously the CVS one they did not make there. Yeah. But like, who knows where you get? Like, we've got a number of coffee shops in our neighborhood where Challengers is in Chicago, and they frequently will sell food that is packaged and produced somewhere else entirely. Yeah. They'll sell baked goods, but they don't make the baked goods. But they're made somewhere.
We're at the New York Comic Con, and we've talked about this before on this podcast. We were asked to give a keynote address.
We were invited by Reed Pop to speak at the Comic Sketch Art Industry Mixer on Thursday night of the New York Comic Con after the show closed.
One of the annoying things I found afterwards is on that flyer that advertised it, it showed you the list of sponsors, and like specifically there was a Yen Press goodie bag, and whoever the other people that are giving goodies and things. We got none of that.
Yeah, that's fine. I was happy to just, do our job.
I'm curious what they were giving out to retailers. It's like, hey, this is what like our best foot forward, or what have you.
So to dial it all the way back to the beginning, since I don't imagine we talked about any of this in the previous episodes.
The Earth cooled.
Patrick and I flew out from Chicago on a 6 a.m. flight out of O'Hare Airport Wednesday, October 10th. October 10th? Am I getting that right?
No, October 8th.
October 8th. Meaning it was the first, possibly ever, Wednesday at Challengers where neither Patrick nor I were at the store. We flew out, direct flight into New York.
LaGuardia
Airport, where almost immediately upon getting off the plane, we ran into multiple people we knew.
We had Demily from Blades of Furry were right behind me and where I was sitting.
They were on our plane.
Yeah.
But then when we were collecting our baggage from the baggage carousel, we ran into
Matt Kent and Charlene Kent.
Charlene, his wife, that we have not seen in forever. I ran into Dan Doherty, and Dan was more or less going in the same direction we were, so we shared a lift with Dan that took...
it's a 45-minute drive. It's like getting from, if you were driving from Challengers to O'Hare.
Yeah.
However...
it took nearly 2 hours.
And our cab driver was aggressive and vocal.
That dude did not want the ride to be as long as it was. He wanted it less than we did.
That dude took gaps that I would never have attempted in my car, which is significantly smaller than his.
It was a nightmare getting into the city.
Well, I mean, I did feel bad for him because it was a lift, so it's a pre-planned price.
We already negotiated a rate.
You're not paying by the minute like a cab.
Thank God for us.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to our hotel, which we were not able to check in at yet. We dropped off our bags, and we immediately went to the Javits Center, where the Retailer Day programming on Wednesday, October 8th, was happening.
It was already underway.
Yeah.
We got there like an hour and a half after when we thought we were going to
missed some of the beginning stuff, some of the early presentations, but we got there with enough time to see what I felt like was the majority of speakers.
And we were told, like, you guys, if you want to bring your luggage, like, you can stow it in the Reed Pop office.
But I mean, we were in a hotel, and the hotel was like, it's no problem.
And also, I'm so glad we didn't. It'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. And it was the convention was still being set up at the Javits Center, so you could look down from where we were on the 4th floor at the River Pavilion to see them building the various booths and stuff.
This is the first year that Thursday at New York Comic Con is a full day.
Yeah, usually it had been like a half day where you would just do like the
preview night kind of thing or whatever.
Right, the way the San Diego used to do it. But it had grown so much that now Thursday was an entire day. And spoiler,
they needed it.
Thursday at I told this to a number of people. The Thursday at the New York Comic Con, which is the first day and ostensibly the lightest day of attendance, was like a Saturday at C2E2. It was already so crowded and so difficult to traverse.
If you ever walked the show floor at C2E2 on a Saturday and thought it was crowded, now we understand why they always say that New York is bigger. Because
it really is.
It's significantly bigger of a venue. They use so much more space.
Yeah, when you look at C2E2, it's like, okay, well, they have this part of McCormick Place, and it's this big hall.
Yeah.
And, like, you might have panels and stuff upstairs or in another room or something, but this is like if C2E2 was using just that hall for, like, the show floor, and Artist Alley was a completely different big room across the hall.
And the panels were upstairs and downstairs.
And the autographs were a completely different room down the hall.
Equally as big as Artist Alley.
Yeah, it's like a factor of 10 bigger in every sense.
Its scope is huge.
But so anyway, back to Wednesday. So we did the retailer stuff, which was an interesting experience because the presentations were I think universally good, and they were back to back to back. Like they were rolling through things. This was not, we're going to do a half hour with Dark Horse, and then we're going to let you do something else for 15 minutes, and then come back and do half an hour with DC. This was like, we were going to do 15 minutes with Dark Horse, and then we're going to do 15 minutes with IDW, and then we're going to do 15 minutes with Square Enix, and then we're going to do 15 minutes with Ignition, and so on and so on. They're just back to back to back to back to back, with eventually like little breaks while they would change some stuff around. The difficult thing that I think we found with the Retailer Day stuff was that the layout of the room sort of basically like think of a rectangular room. At the far north end, there is like a dais, there's a lectern. That's where presentations are. There's a big
giant screen.
But then
this is also a 2-story room with all glass walls.
Right. But then and so there's chairs in the middle, and that's everything. I'm sorry, it's not chairs. It's round tables. So most of the chairs are kind of not facing the stage unless you turn yourself around. But spoiler alert, if you do that, you're going to be in everyone's way, which is what I was.
Yeah. The room is also cut in half, and the back half of the room was the press side.
Yeah, it was more tables and stuff. And other places
so for people to set up their laptops and to people that are reporting live on it. And then in the very far back of that room was the concession stand.
Right. But then, okay, so we're in this room. The north end of it, dais, lectern, huge screen, where all the speakers are. Center of the room, round tables, chairs. the attendees. Along the west and the south edges were publisher and sponsor table areas. So that's where you would have Oni or Square Enix or other
friends.
Yeah, having little tables set up where people could walk up to them and then find out what they were selling, how their product mix might fit with a store, questions you might want to ask a rep, that sort of stuff. And while that made everything nice and compact, it wasn't a separate room you had to go to, which people would sometimes miss and could be maybe underattended. The problem was it led to a lot of ambient noise happening and a lot of people kind of not paying attention to the speakers, which made it...
Yeah, because those tables were active the entire day.
It wasn't like you would switch out, like there would be like a speaker and then everyone would go to the tables. It was like, no, people were going to the tables during the different...
You were encouraged to go during the presentations.
Yeah, which meant that for the most part, a lot of people were not paying attention to the presentations, or you were trying to talk to someone at a table and a presentation is kind of going on around you and you have to talk over that. So it was not the most conducive atmosphere for a lot of those one-on-one talks that you want to have, or frankly, like the ability to pay attention to the publisher speaks. Some of that is kind of incidental because what we saw a lot of the attendees were not necessarily people who were in retail locations. They were people who were there to get things CGC verified for a Todd McFarlane signing, or to get things signed by James Tynan and Jim Lee, who were scheduled to sign for attendees. These were people that were probably not running physical retail locations or even online storefronts that specialized in comic books.
Just stacks and stacks of McFarlane books.
So that, from someone who wanted to find value in the retail community and wanted the retail community to present itself well, as I think we talked about on the last episode of this podcast, that was kind of a bummer to see so much of the attendees being people who were not actively engaged with the retail community in the same way that we were. That was kind of a bummer. But again, I got a lot of value out of the vendor presentations. I thought they were all really strong, some more engaging or funny than others, but generally, like, everyone was pretty on with what they were trying to impart to the audience, even if most of that audience was maybe not paying as much attention as they should have.
One minor bit for me was that A, I was very tired. Mm-hmm. B, as the sun moved overhead through these glass walls, it could light up half of the audience.
Yeah, there were a few times where I kind of couldn't see who was talking, because in the direction of the lectern where someone was doing their presentation, directly to the right of their head was the fire of the sun.
Right, directly.
And it was just like, boy, I got nothing here. So the end of the presentations.
The point I was going to make was that Patrick nodded off a whole bunch of times.
In fairness, we were both very tired. We each had to get up at about 2 a.m. to make a 6 a.m. flight at O'Hare.
Or never go to sleep.
Right. I had worked Tuesday, so I basically got home, ate a quick dinner, started and finished my packing, had like maybe half an hour to kind of decompress, and then basically had to throw myself into bed hoping I'd get some sleep, which I did not get a lot of sleep. So by the late part of the day, as we were getting into the sun setting, both Patrick and I have essentially at this point been up for like 16 hours. We're already dying. And then, so I'm trying to think of, we got to the end of the presentation stuff, and then it didn't immediately switch over into the lunar thing. I think we had to go do something else.
No,
right?
No. They kicked us out of the room because they were setting up for lunar, but all we did was go into the hallway.
Okay. And we just sat down for a while.
Yeah. And it was like a half hour.
Right. And then we went back in for the lunar stuff, which the lunar thing was supposed to be like a 2-hour mixer with more presentations and food.
Well, let me, if I may.
Please.
The way it was scheduled, it was like 7 to 7:45 is presentations, mixer afterwards, snacks will be served.
Right. So basically, since we didn't go anywhere, we were just like, all right, well, we'll eat dinner at the lunar thing. The lunar thing was just like vegetables and hummus. That was kind of it.
no cheese, no pita bread,
no meat,
just
no nothing. So I had a couple
just things you would dip into hummus.
Yeah, so I had a couple carrot sticks, and Patrick had, I think, nothing. Did you have anything?
Well, I mean, we had hot dogs during the day.
Yeah, I mean, we had something to eat in the middle of the afternoon.
And I had a really, really hard pretzel.
I had a couple cookies from a bag of, I can't remember what that green brand of cookies is. I don't mean green like it's like environmentally conscious. I mean, the bag is literally green.
Like
but you can buy them at like Walgreens.
Yeah.
They're real thin, crispy cookies. I like them.
Have you had them since?
I had 3 left. So I had those last night.
Did they survive?
Yeah, they're fine.
Well, because they were in my backpack and I was doing a lot of
were in
waiting.
a tray.
Yeah.
So they were fine.
Yeah, but that tray against my body weight, I don't think the tray wins.
So after the DC, well, the lunar thing, which ended, we at one point we had another thing to get to, and we were
that was from 8 to 10.
Right. So we were like, we gotta go. Like we're already missing some of this, and it's already late, and we don't want to stay too long because we also want to go back to the hotel and go to sleep.
Well, also when we dropped off our bags, we were told that you have to come back to the hotel by 10 o'clock. Or the bags get locked in a room overnight because they're not staffed overnight.
Right.
But the guy that I was talking to, because I tipped my guy,
mm-hmm.
so he started giving me a lot of info. He's like, you actually have until 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
But after 11:30, that's it. You cannot get your bags.
Yeah.
Because I explained to him, like, we got stuff to do all day. We're not going to come back. Like, check-in is at 3, but we're not checking in until, we assume 10.
So
he's like, your absolute drop-dead cutoff is 11:30.
Right. So we were about to leave the lunar thing, between like the penultimate and final speaker, but then the final speaker was DC, which we did not see during the day.
Yeah,
because
we were going to bail. We were just going to leave early because we had to get to an invite-only Tiny Onion party that we were invited to.
Right. But then it was the DC thing, and we're like, all right, we'll stay for the DC thing. And it was actually pretty fun. It was Scott Snyder going into a lot of detail about stuff that was coming up for DCKO, even though they announced even more stuff that was coming up for DCKO at a Jim Lee panel.
Yeah,
like
and
2 days
he
later.
teased it. He's like, we got more to announce this weekend.
Right. So we finished that, and we go over to the Tiny Onion thing, and we're there for a little bit, and we talked to a few people. We have some good conversations, but eventually we're like, we got to get out of here. We got to get our bags before they get locked out for the night.
Full disclosure, we plan to put in an appearance, be seen, and take off.
Right.
But we were actually having a good time.
Right. We talked to some fun people and some people we hadn't seen in a while or had never met in person.
And then we realized, like, hey, it's after 10.
Yeah.
We got to go.
We got to go. So we go out onto the street, and Patrick's like, well, I'll just get a car. Like, we're less than a mile away from the hotel, but
we're like 9/10 of a mile.
We're both exhausted. It's late at night. We barely know where we are. It's like, let's just get a car. It's worth the money. It's probably like a 10-minute trip. Fine. So Patrick calls up a car and Lyft. 6 minutes. Hey, right behind us where we're waiting on the street is a pizza place.
Classic New York pizza joint.
I'm starving. So I run in and I get 2 slices of pizza, talk to the pizza guy for a minute. Naturally, he's like, Chicago pizza, that's like a whole different, Chicago style has a whole bunch of different kinds. I'm like, look, deep dish pizza is just a thing tourists get.
Yeah.
Nobody I know who lives in Chicago gets that regularly. You get it sometimes if someone's in front of town.
You want
like
Chicago
a special
pizza?
thing.
You get tavern.
Everyone gets different stuff. We got New York style. We got Detroit. We got
New Haven.
Like we got a bunch of different kinds. People get just regular stuff. So then I go outside and
he's like, Mamma mia, that's amazing.
I take a few bites out of my pizza. Patrick's like, my hands are full. I can't have mine. Hold on to mine for me. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to eat my whole thing because we're going to get in the car.
While Dal was in there, the car went from 6 minutes to 4 minutes to 12 minutes.
So it keeps going up. So I keep eating my pizza because I'm like, well, I'm still really hungry. Even though at the Tiny Onion thing, we actually had some finger foods and it was like, oh my God, this is so filling. Thank you. Thank you for the, is it a
bacon covered date?
Bacon
wrap date.
Oh my God. I had like 3 of them. They were
because
so
they taste just like mini hot dogs.
Yeah, it does. It's delicious. And the bacon was great. Anyway.
At Gina's wedding a few years ago, I was chowing down on those and I'm like, oh man. And she walked by. I'm like, Gina, those bacon wrapped hot dogs are great. It's like, they're dates.
Dummy.
I'm like, oh.
Patrick's unrefined palate. So we're watching the time constantly tick up on our Lyft.
And then
at the same time, we're like, this is weird because like we're just here. Like a Lyft dropped us off right here.
Yeah.
Why are we having so many problems? And so at this point, I finished my slice of pizza. That's how long we've waited. And we're trying to figure out like, all right, do we need to like go to a different end of the block? Are we just in a bad place right now?
Well, the Lyft cancels and then a new driver's coming. And the time gets shorter, gets longer. Gets shorter, gets longer. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Jazzle and Stone from Tiny Onion one of the people we were talking to, and she knew about our luggage situation.
Yeah, we basically had to say, like, we love this. We love talking to you. We literally have to go rescue our luggage.
Yeah. Or
we will not have it until God knows when tomorrow.
So she came out to get some air, and she's like, you guys are still here? Did you get your luggage already?
Yeah.
Come back? We're like, no, we haven't gotten a lift yet.
Because at this point, this is like 10 to 15 minutes after we had said our goodbyes.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for us to still be standing in the street across from the bar trying to get a car.
So she immediately launches into problem-solving mode. She's like, I'm going to get you a lift.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a great lift rating.
Right.
Or an Uber. I'm going to call you an Uber.
Right.
She calls us an Uber. I canceled the one we had. I had to pay a $5 cancellation fee.
Unbelievable.
So she's like, I got to wait with you to make sure she comes. I'm like, you got a whole party inside. And then she's like, no, I'm going to make sure you get in this car.
Mm-hmm.
And then the driver calls her and says, I'm having a real hard time getting to you.
I cannot get to the street that you're on.
So she's like, all right, we're going to go to the end of the block.
Right.
So she walks us to the end of the block, like we're going to school.
And then waits with us for like another 5 minutes, waiting for the Uber driver to come around and find us. Which was only the beginning of the problems we would have getting back to our hotel in time.
Yes, but I want to say he shows up, she leaves.
Yeah.
This was the
most plush vehicle I've probably ever
been in. It was a
in.
massive SUV.
I felt like I worked for a petrostate or something. It was so nice.
There were screens in the back of each headrest for us to play with.
Bigger than my iPad.
He
had Netflix pre-installed.
Yeah, he had massive screens and maps and things on his dashboard.
Oh my God.
He was in a full suit. He opened the door for us.
It was crazy. But the problem we were having, we found out from the driver, is that basically 10th Avenue was completely closed for like 12 blocks because they were tearing it up and repaving it overnight. We had already, not even realizing it, found that happen as when we were getting the car at first dropping us off for the party.
Yeah.
They were barely able to scoot in around like a machine that was working on some side street. So it wasn't even 10th Avenue. It was multiple streets were being worked on.
Dal, what street is our hotel on?
Patrick's on 10th Avenue.
Oh, shit.
So basically, we were driving in more or less circles because every place his GPS was trying to route him to was closed.
You have to turn the opposite direction.
And everything in Hell's Kitchen is like a series of one-way streets for the most part. So if you can't turn left where you're supposed to, you are now several blocks out of your way trying to reorient yourself back to where you're supposed to be. So we're watching, we're like half an hour later than we wanted to be leaving the party because this is how long it took to sort out the car situation. So we're already way behind and we desperately need to get back to the hotel to get our bags. And as this is happening,
Dow's getting real nervous
because it's taken longer and longer, and the traffic is getting worse and worse because everything's closed. So what would normally be dispersed across multiple major streets,
everybody has to go the same way,
is now pared down to like a few arteries. So it sucks. So we're stuck in traffic. We're way off base. At one point, I say to the guy, "Hey man, how far away are we?" He's like 7 blocks. I'm like, "Okay, well when we get a little closer, like just let me out because I can get 5 blocks faster than you can get 5 blocks at this point, and I can at least get our bags."
Dal's a very fast walker.
So I'm used to walking city streets. It's not a big deal. It's a straight shot, basically. We know sort of where we're supposed to be, and we're just parallel to it, more or less. So I wait a little bit. Like 10 minutes later, I'm like, all right, well, how far away are we now? He's like 11 blocks. I'm like, we got farther away with less time now. I'm like, just let me out here. And he's like, okay, like, you're going to go down here to 9th Avenue, and then you're going to turn right. And you're just going to take that, and then you're going to, you'll make another right, and you're done. Like, okay, great. So he
was real concerned about you leaving the car.
Right, which, I mean, I sort of get it. It's late at night. It's New York City or whatever. But, like, one, I live in the city. I know how to take care of myself or whatever.
City
but two, it's like, I desperately need to get my bags. So I will take this risk.
Oh, also, my phone was on 2% and my watch was like just about dead.
The hotel had all of our bags.
Yeah.
So I don't mean like they had my clothes for tomorrow. I mean, they had my chargers. They had my toiletries. They had everything. They had every single thing that I brought with me to New York that was not physically in my pocket when I went to the show, which was basically my wallet and my phone. Like that was it. That was what I had on me. So I don't run. I walk as fast as I can down these different blocks to finally get back to the hotel, at which point I think I'd beaten Patrick by like maybe 5 minutes. He finally shows up.
Yeah.
And I was able to get our bags, and it was no big deal. What it was, though...
He finally shows up like I was lagging behind. I was in the car.
What it was, though...
He's like, did your friend get there? Did he text you yet? I'm like, no, not yet.
Was incredibly eerie because, again, all of 10th Avenue, which is a major street, was basically closed off to cars. So it was just like pedestrians and a few work crews. It wasn't like every single, work truck in New York was along the street. It was like little pockets of activity. So it was so weird and deserted. It was because all the lights are still on. This is New York. It doesn't matter that it's, 11 o'clock at night. So you're just walking on these sort of deserted streets, heavily lit. It felt really weird and kind of fun. I don't know. But anyway, we got our bags, whatever.
I think it's kind of fascinating that on this podcast, which is all about our experiences as retailers at the New York Comic Con, you spend the most detail and time on the story, and you got so animated and so into telling it. Like, it's like a highlight for you.
I mean, it just found it really interesting and weird just to have this thing of like, literally all we wanted to do was drive 9/10 of a mile.
Yes.
And it was as arduous as anything we've gone
through
this weekend.
Not quite an hour.
Yeah, it took forever. It was
which is why since then we have walked everywhere.
Yeah, we haven't taken a single car. To be clear, if it hadn't been the time limit of like getting our bags, I would have sat in traffic. I don't give a shit. Yeah. It's fine. I'm not that impatient. It was just that like, oh man, I cannot have them lock my bags up overnight, and I know that there is no way out of this. Like,
and ordinarily,
there's no one I can appeal to. I don't know anyone at this hotel. Like, they're just going to tell me,
and our guy was
go
off
to your
duty.
room. You have your room key. Just go to your room. We'll fix it in the morning.
Ordinarily, this is a thing we would both just happily walk, but I'm not in a situation where I'm walking those distances. Right. And this has been a very physically taxing weekend for me because it's nothing but walking and standing and walking again. And
so we get our bags. We go to our rooms. We collapse, I assume, Patrick.
I stayed up all night.
You lunatic. So Thursday morning, we meet David and Amber for breakfast.
Let me just cut it real well. The hotel, for a minute, not real well. Mm-hmm. The hotel we're in is a very, very weird hotel. The rooms are...
It's an efficient hotel.
The rooms are...
It's like Japanese style. It's pods.
Yeah, kind of. The rooms are tiny.
No, they literally call them pods.
Okay. The bathrooms are open concept.
Uh-huh.
This is not a room you want to share with another human being, even if it's your partner.
Yeah, and it's not a room that you want to hang out in.
Yeah.
Period. Like,
everything is very low to the toilets are very low. The chair I'm sitting in right now is very low.
I think this room is perfect if for a city like New York, because why in the world would you just be sitting in your hotel room? Like, go do something. Go anywhere.
There are no overhead lights.
That's the weirdest part. There's just like a light in the bathroom behind the mirror. There's a light there's an overhead light in the bathroom over the toilet. And then there's like a light behind the TV that Patrick's doesn't work right now. And like two little like reading light, I don't know, what do you call those?
Yeah, just reading lights over a bed. Very tiny.
But like flexible reading lights where you can manipulate them a little bit.
The bathroom is a glass wall right at the edge of the bed. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you have one window, which is floor to ceiling, and it gives you this amazing view out in the city.
Just west into the...
But it's right next to the toilet.
I mean, it's right next... There's a wall right next to the toilet, but in the bathroom, there's just this gigantic...
When you step out of the shower, you are in full view of the window, except that, they're reflective on the outside.
Yeah, they're one way, so like hopefully people aren't staring at you.
Yeah. But when you turn the lights on,
I like the hotel rooms because again, I find them exactly what I want in a hotel room, which is I don't need a ton of space because I'm not going to be here. Like I need a place to stow my stuff, and I need a place to sleep and maybe sit down.
I don't like the bed, but I have different requirements for bed. My mattresses are always very firm.
This is super soft. I love it. It's honestly one of the best mattresses I probably ever had in a hotel.
I hate this rim here, this edge.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I hate it.
So anyway, Thursday we meet for breakfast.
We meet with David Harper and Amber Harper,
which was great. They're super interesting people to talk to. They have a great rapport. They have
David knows everyone in the industry.
Yeah, it's great. It was a fun way to start the day, like because we'd done the retailer stuff, but we hadn't gone to the show yet. So this was kind of nice to like get into the rhythm of like meeting and talking to people in a more like casual, like relaxed way. So we did that. We all went over to the convention together. We immediately lost them. Right before we got in because Patrick ran into someone that he knows from Repop. That we both know technically.
Mighty Mike Negan.
But
he let us scoot in a different...
He's like, hey, come in through here. Like, technically, you don't have this access with your badge, but we will let you in through here. So we got in through there. We immediately had a panel to get to, which was the Hasbro Disney Brands panel, which was the Marvel and Star Wars toys. They had some fun announcements.
Yeah, I'd never been to a Hasbro panel before.
Me neither.
And it's also completely unnecessary because that stuff is online immediately afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's just fun to be in the room and just see, like, oh, they do a little presentation and they show you some stuff that's coming up. They announced the whole wave of new figures that are coming out. The World War II Logan, the six-armed symbiote Spider-Man.
The green guy from Crystar, the Crystal Warrior.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night, Phantom Rider, stuff like that. As well as teasing some upcoming stuff.
It's an Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave.
No, it's the Executioner, Scourge.
Oh, right. Sorry, Apocalypse was a separate thing.
Yeah, they're doing a great big Apocalypse as well. I don't know if he's made to order or not, but
he's a 12-inch figure.
Yep, and they had him on display at the show.
I don't think of him as being that much bigger than your average Marvel.
It's specifically
figure.
X-Men 97 Apocalypse. I think it's maybe where they're coming from.
And then they started talking about Star Wars, so Patrick could deliberately take a nap.
And they talked about Tron, and then Dal perked up. What did we do after that?
Artist Alley,
Did we do Artist Alley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had another panel. Oh, I had the Slow Horses panel.
Yeah. So we did like 2 aisles maybe for Artist Alley because that's how quickly we were stopping and talking to people and looking at stuff and buying
The difference
things.
of Artist Alley from Chicago to New York is Chicago goes from row A to row Z.
Uh-huh.
New York doesn't go to row Z, but the aisles are long because it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Like I don't 1 or 2 more rows. That's it.
Something.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Patrick had a Slow Horses panel that he had to get to. So,
But I mean, Artist Alley, we wound up running into a ton of people that
everybody,
we know.
some people.
A handful of Chicago people, which is great.
Yeah.
We're always on the lookout for new things we want to carry for the store. This trip really wasn't that for us.
No, one of the things we talked about is C2E2, we're always looking for stuff to carry because most of the people there are like from the Midwest or whatever. So it's easy for us to find stuff and then be like, hey, if we want to restock, you are easy to get to or whatever. New York is the opposite of that. It's people who definitely do not live in the Midwest for the most part. And if we found something we liked, it's like, how do we get more of this? That's hard to do.
But to be honest, there wasn't really a lot of books that called out to us.
No, and that's a problem we've had with C2E2s in the past, as like basically people shift over more to doing art objects, and the people who are exhibiting are people who are professional artists and therefore have books that we already carry at the store.
Plastic keychains are everywhere now.
Most people are not doing new like graphic novels and zines and stuff that they're showing off at shows. That's just not how the industry is working anymore. If they're doing that stuff, they're not bringing it to shows because it's probably not finding as much success as a bunch of acrylic keychains are.
Yep.
So then we went our separate ways for a little bit. I looked around the show floor, which is basically just it's every convention you've ever been to, but at a higher volume. There's more publishers. There's more media booths. They're bigger. They're more intense. There's more vendors selling more stuff. But you know, the basic language of it is the same as C2E2. It's just more of it and a kind of higher quality of it.
I had a very British week last week for me. On Sunday, it's still this week.
Mm-hmm. Technically.
Last Sunday, 6 days ago for me, I saw Kevin Bridges at the Vic. He's a Scottish comedian, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, in the mail, showed up Greg James, BBC Radio 1. Everyone knows how much I love his show. He wrote a book called All the Best for the Future, which is just like a guide to creating nonsense in the world. It's like a self-help autobiographical book,
mm-hmm.
right? I'd ordered it specifically from the Owl Bookshop, which is his local bookshop, because it was a signed copy, but it was signed by him and by his dog Barney. They actually put Barney's paw print in ink and had Barney, step on the page.
Yeah.
So I did it specifically from that bookstore, and it said, you could, who's it to, and what do you want it to say? And I just said, it's to Patrick. I wanted him to say, keep reading comics,
mm-hmm.
right? Fine.
Sure.
I did not say I was Patrick Brower from Challengers Comics in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered the book with that information.
Mm-hmm.
And keep in mind that I met Greg James at a suburban Chicago book signing in fall of 2019. I met him and his co-writer Chris Smith for when they were doing the second Kid Normal book. Mm-hmm. I get this book in the mail. It says, to Patrick, I think about that Chicago trip often and how great it was maybe to meet you, whatever. He goes, I hope the comic book world is treating you well. See you soon, Greg. Amazing. So somehow he knew who I was from just the Keep Reading Comics.
Crazy.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. What a memory on that guy.
So that was Monday. Tuesday night.
Do you think that's a big part of being like a successful DD is not just like those like personal relationships you have with artists and stuff, but remembering all those details?
Remember Amber does that too.
It's crazy.
So
I like a steel trap those performers.
Tuesday night, I went to City Winery in conjunction with the bookseller. They had Richard Osman, the author of the Thursday Murder Club books, and host of Richard Osman House of Games, the information specialist on Pointless, and also, importantly for Patrick's life, a contestant on Taskmaster Season 2.
That puts him on your list.
So he was doing a book signing. So I went to that, and it was a reading and presentation, and I didn't think there'd be a meet and greet component. There was. I got to meet him, talk a little bit about in-house, talk about what's the upcoming season of House of Games. 110 episodes.
Jesus.
That is 22 weeks worth of program because they do 5 episodes a week.
Oh my God.
It's astounding. Got a picture taken with him. That was great. And then I was going to the Slow Horses panel on Thursday specifically because Nick Mohammed is on the new season. He plays the mayor.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm a huge Nick Mohammed fan from all his appearances on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, where he's a character named Mr. Swallow, from a show called Taskmaster.
I've heard of it.
He was a contestant on season 17.
Okay.
He was dressed as Dracula the whole time.
How do you do?
Not well.
Oh, no.
Not well.
Oh, no.
He's also a very tiny human. He's 5'3".
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that is why he did so poorly? Because the Taskmaster is so tall?
They did make him stand next to Greg. It was pretty funny. He's also Nate the Great from Ted Lasso.
Okay.
But I was there for Mr. Swallow. Sure. And Mr. Swallow always has the same outfit. It's this big sweatery jumper and a large, like 2.5-inch button that says, I heart my violin. So I had an I heart my violin pin made for this, just on the off chance he might see it, right? Like, I knew he wasn't signing, he wasn't doing a meet and greet, it wasn't any of that stuff. But when I get there, I'm sitting so far back, I'm like, and they turn off the lights, and it's dark in there. I'm like, there's no way he's ever going to see it.
Nope.
They take questions at the end.
Oh,
so I
a little Q&A.
Hustled over to the Q&A section. I'm like, this is great. I'm only like 6 people back. Oh, there's multiple lines.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I actually made it to the microphone. I said, Nick, it's wonderful to see you in person. He was wearing like black pants, white T-shirt, leather jacket. It was great to see you in person, but you're clearly missing something from your outfit. So I have for you, and I took my button off, and I learned from the people in front of me that they have a hard time hearing. So I talked loud and slow and described what I was doing.
Yes.
But I have this for you. It's a small white button that says, I heart my violin. And he got so excited. He's like, "Can I? Is that for me? Can I have that?" And he like jumps off his chair, and there was a guardrail and a significant gap between the stage, and I couldn't hand it to him. But he runs over and like leans down from the stage, and I walk over to the guardrail, and somebody comes over and gets it and gives it to him, and he's like, "This is so incredibly sweet. What's your name?" Patrick. He's like, "Thank you so much."
Aw.
So I didn't get a picture or a handshake or whatever, but like I got that moment. Yeah, and the weird thing about that was, at that point, and I just turned around to walk away, the audience erupted in applause, and they were not applauding questions.
Sure.
And then, right after the event was over, and I was out in the little lobby area before we met back up, people kept coming up to me and saying, "That was amazing, that was so sweet." And most of the people know him from Ted Lasso.
Sure.
And he even described it as like, "Oh, this is a pin from a character I played named Mr. Swallow," who, by the way, Kyle Starks hates that character.
Oh, yeah.
But people kept coming up to tell me how wonderful that was, and I thought that was super weird. And I told it to you, I'm like, that's so weird. And then later that night, you got to witness it in a whole different part of the show.
Yeah.
We're coming off an elevator, and a woman stops me, and she said, "That was so nice what you did for him." It was such a weird thing.
Yeah, it was really weird, but it was great. My absolute favorite thing for the entire convention was the thing that happened on Thursday. And it was just I was walking out of Artist Alley. It may have been before or after we'd split up. I can't remember. And there was I saw walking out of like a corner.
I was right there,
but I don't remember when it was during the day.
It was later in the day. Yeah.
Basically, I saw coming out of the little alcove, somebody in a Brainstorm the Transformer from the IDW series More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. And it was a really good homemade costume. It's the costume was accurate, and they had some of the accessories. And so I saw them come in, and I do what I usually do when I see cool cosplay that I like. I go, "Hey, I love your Brainstorm costume." I don't say that if it's not a Brainstorm costume. I just did it in this instance because they happen to be a Brainstorm.
I thought you were a big fan of the Infinity Inc. villain.
I said, "Hey, I love your Brainstorm costume." And this kid says in their high-pitched voice, "You know who I am?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. You've got," I'd point out the accessories and stuff. "Yeah." And they're so excited. And I'm like, "Hey, do you mind? Can I get a picture of your costume?" "Yes." And they're with somebody in the kind of...
And the person behind, like their handler or whatever, is desperately trying to get the wings in a certain pose.
They got the costume
and you're like,
on it.
"It's fine."
I'm like, "This looks great."
The wings were out, but they're trying to get them out and up.
Yeah, more articulated. They're like, "I can't believe you know who I am." I'm like, I lean in and I go, "Look, you came to the New York Comic Con and you don't think anybody here is going to recognize Brainstorm from the Transformers? Come on." So I take the photo and they're super excited. I ran into them a couple times later that day. And at one time they were playing with a Brainstorm, the Voyager class Thrilling 30 Brainstorm
he wanted to tell you all about it.
Yeah. And I'm like, because they did two versions of Brainstorm because of the popularity of the comic. The Voyager one is sort of out of scale. He's too big for all the other figures that you would, display him with. So they did a smaller deluxe scale one. I think the Voyager one's a better figure. I think it's more fun. I told him, I'm like, "Yeah, I think the Voyager one's better." And it was just like the genuine excitement of someone recognizing their cosplay without being told, knowing what it was such
clearly the kid is a huge fan because he made this amazing homemade costume.
It was the most like gratifying thing to do.
And it was so genuine.
It made you feel part of like a larger community. It's what people go to comic conventions for as a fan.
Robot and nerd community.
Pretty much. I'll be seeing a lot of them at TFCon in Chicago in like 2 weeks. But this was, and the same thing happened.
If you see that same kid in the same costume, you're going to be like, "Come on, kid, that's derivative. You've never done that."
That's fine.
Do something different.
I saw a guy in two different Kamen Rider
Hey, kid, you want a
costumes
battle damage Brainstorm?
on Thursday and Friday, and like I didn't even know it was the same guy because we were in, just not to skip ahead, but Thursday in the middle of the day we went to the food stand, the food court at the Javits Center, and it's huge lines, but they were so efficient. Everything moved so fast. But like at one point,
never anywhere to sit.
Yeah, we were kind of rounding a corner, and opposite us were the lines to check out. And I saw a guy from behind him, like, "This is a Kamen Rider costume." And he had his helmet off, but I'm looking, I'm like, "This is Kamen Rider 01, the 02 version." And the guy, he's talking to like one of the security guys. Security guy's blown away by this costume. He doesn't know what it is, but it looks awesome. He's like, "What is this? Is this is this a superhero?" And the guy's doing his like, "Well, it's Kamen Rider." And from behind I go, "Yeah, 02." And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "This is amazing. You did such a great job."
The guy turns around and goes, "You know who I am?"
It was the same. It was the adult version of that energy of like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is great. You did an amazing job." And in my head, I'm thinking, "Yeah, but you're the Aruto version, which is not as cool to me as the Is version, but fine, whatever."
And Dowd did not want a photo because his helmet was off.
Well, I felt bad because we're both at two different sections of this food court where it's like a photo is not happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm carrying food. You're checking out. We got people all around us. So I'm like, I will catch up with you, or I will find you later. And I never did. But then we're coming out of the AEW panel on Friday, and like I look from behind. I'm like, this is another Kamen Rider costume.
It's a whole different Kamen Rider. It's equally impressive costume.
It's Kamen Rider Tycoon Bujin Sword, his late series final form, and I'm like, "Hey, hi, your Tycoon is amazing." And then I realized like it's the same guy. Like I'm like, were you here yesterday? He's like, yeah. Were you 02? Yeah. Okay, you're the same guy. Can I get a photo since we're in a good place? So I was able to get a photo with him, and he had said,
you're like, who are you going to be tomorrow?
Well, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was you, me, him, somebody. We were talking about like, why did you come to Comic-Con in a Kamen Rider costume? And he said he does it because like there's none of them. Like if you come as a Power Ranger, there's like 15 Power Rangers.
And he's clearly a Power Rangers fan, and I'm sure has Power Rangers costumes.
He clearly does. But if you go as a Kamen Rider to New York Comic Con, you are probably the only Kamen Rider. And sure enough, I only saw 2 costumes over Friday and Saturday, or Thursday and Friday. And it was the same guy in 2 different costumes. So there literally was only one.
It turned out he had 2 costumes because he was supposed to go with a friend of his, and they were each going to be their own Kamen Rider, but his friend got sick.
Right.
So the second day, he's like, well, I'll wear your costume the second day.
And it's great. It looked great. But anyway, so back to...
It was impressive.
It was
and I don't give a shit.
Good.
And it was impressive.
So back to Thursday. So, we've done our panel stuff. We go back to Artist Alley. We do more Artist Alley. We eventually get food.
Nick Muhammad called me a very sweet man.
Nick Muhammad called Patrick, and only Patrick, thank you, even though I wasn't there, a very sweet man. And then eventually I think we basically ran out of time, and we were like, we have to go up to the panel room.
Yeah.
There was a brief hiccup in the middle of the day where we got an email from Alex from ReadPop, who had been our coordinator for all of this from the very first suggestion that we would do this.
Just touching base saying, remember, we need you upstairs by 6:45. The speeches start promptly at 7.
Yeah,
which was
7-ish, and it was like, okay, well, everything you told us from day one has been this is happening from 8 to the mixer's 8 to 10. Every advertisement has said the mixer's 8 to 10,
and the speeches start at 8:15.
Yeah. And the
flyers that they left on all the tables on Artist Alley said the mixer is 8 to 10.
Like Artist Alley didn't close until after 7, so it was like
it closed at 8.
Right.
So if they were to start at 7.
Right. So like basically no one's going to be there. So we're like, all right, man, like you're in charge. We're going to go where you tell us to go. But
this mixer was open to anybody with a pro badge. Right. So it's all different aspects of the community.
So thankfully about an hour later, we get another email from Alex saying, whoops, I meant 8. So it's like, okay, cool. So we know where we're supposed to be. So we get up there. There's already a huge line formed.
We're going to play the speech.
Right.
And I'm going to, after that, I'm going to take because we recorded the speech ourselves. We were told, because we asked us to hear different people's speeches from the past, and they're like, we don't record them.
Just to get calibrated towards like, so what do people say and what do you want to hear?
The very mics that we use for this podcast, I brought, and we had them on us during our speech. Mm-hmm. So it recorded everything. Right. But it recorded a little bit of stuff before the speech. Mm-hmm. Now, once I put the speech in the podcast, I'm going to edit it down to just the speech and offer it to like Comics Pro and things like that, people that haven't heard it. Sure. But I'm leaving in the beginning because it specifically addresses what we're about to say. Mm-hmm. And there's familiar voices on this that aren't ours. Mm-hmm. Comics professionals you may or may not recognize. The aforementioned Dan Doherty and Ryan Brown. Yep. They'd met. Ryan Brown even texted us saying, this thing is kicking off. Where are you guys?
And we were trying to get there because, as a quick aside, the Javits Center, again, everything is everywhere in the Javits Center. They're using like every part of the Javits Center. So you will find yourself in our Sally thinking like, oh, I need to get up to the 4th floor. And it's like, well, that's going to be a hike because you have to go through some of the most densely packed sections to get to the elevator that's going to take you to the River Pavilion. And
it was such a trek that we didn't even have any time during the day to step to the side and like do a quick mental run through or a quick like remember our points and whatever.
Yeah, like we definitely wanted to right beforehand, but then by the time we got up there were already a ton of people there. So it's like, okay, well, there's no time to do this because we also had to then like stow our bags, hand our stuff off to the AV people to make sure that our slides are ready to go, to understand like how the mics work and like are we okay using our mics as well as your mics?
Is there any feedback, whatever?
Right.
But so there was a huge line of people. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to give the punchline because I need people to listen for it because it's a little bit quiet on the microphones because the microphones pick us up, no problem. It doesn't pick up a lot of things that's too far away. And it also barely picked up any of the applause. Mm-hmm.
But there was some scattered.
There was more applause than I thought there would be, to be honest. But at a certain point, when we came up there was a huge crowd of people.
Uh-huh.
And at the start of this, I say, wow, look at this crowd of people. And the listener needs to listen for the explanation of the line.
Yep.
That comes from Ryan Brown.
Yep. Our good friend Ryan Brown.
Yeah.
Was unsparing with his analysis. Yeah.
So,
are we going to drop in the speech here and then talk about it afterwards?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
If you guys want to sit right here, by all means.
Yeah. I thought, Alex, I told you they were not allowed in.
Can you see what I said about how you can't see shit?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
You think I want to see a bunch of comics industry?
No,
people?
but like.
Wait, is this on?
Yeah.
You guys should sit right there.
Okay.
We'll just talk right to you.
I have never seen a free taco line so long.
How many free taco lines do you go to, Brian?
Well, I don't know. But I haven't seen one.
If you run fast.
We walk up and like, is this line all for us?
Okay, we're getting a thumbs up.
No.
Oh, you're supposed to start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on here.
Don't sit right there. That's weird.
Ready?
Yeah, so I think we should probably do like a quick hi, and I'll do a hi just to make sure the mic's working.
Just tap it.
I'm not hearing that. Alex.
Tap. Is there an on switch?
I don't know, maybe. Seems like it's on. I mean, if you tap it, you don't hear anything. It ain't on.
No, I know. Just dragging it out even longer.
I don't want to do the thing where you do your thing and for a minute and a half, and I'm like, and then everyone's like, I can't hear you.
I heard it.
Love it.
Where did Dan and Ryan go? I can't see them. Oh, I see them. They're over to the right.
You're a pro. I love it.
All right, ready?
I'm ready. Let's.
Right now, today, we are living in a golden age of comic book acceptance. All around the world, comic books, comic characters, the format, the medium, they're more accepted than ever before. You find them everywhere. Every country has comics. Children whose parents don't even read comics know who Spider-Man is, and they love it. And this is a situation that we have literally never been in before. And for years, we've been told comic books are pop culture. Comic books are not pop culture. Comic books are culture. Pop culture is a sign of the times, a fixed moment where you talk about the things that affect you daily. Culture are stories passed down through generations. That's what comics are. DC Comics is celebrating 90 years. That's a lot of generations of stories being passed down. So we're not pop culture, we're culture. We're part of the everyday culture.
Yeah. Pop culture is ephemeral. Culture is your existence, what you're experiencing every minute of every day.
But it hasn't always been that way. When we started selling comics 35 years ago, the industry was completely different. We were different. Nothing was the same. Everything has changed. My name is Patrick Brower.
My name is W. Del Bush. And we are
Challengers Comics and Conversation from Chicago. Challengers have been open. Thank you. Thank you. Hold for applause.
I'll allow it.
Challengers have been open for 17 and a half years. We've been selling comics. I started selling comics in August of 1990. I hired Dal in May of 91.
At a very legal to work 12 years old.
I had his mom's permission. It was okay.
Thanks, Mom.
But things were different back then. The store we worked at in the beginning was 400 square feet. And then we moved to a store that was slightly larger but longer. And there was an overhang where we hung a shelf, one single shelf, not a bookcase, not a bookshelf, one single shelf to house this new product we were carrying called graphic novels.
You may want to write that down. Graphic novels, 2 words.
Graphic novels were starting to be a thing that we would stock regularly.
We started with, was it three graphic novels?
There were very few.
Yes. It was X-Men Asgardian Wars. It was Batman Digital Justice. It was Camelot 3000, Watchmen, and Batman The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, those were the books like, oh, these are always in print. People will buy them over and over. Let's do that. Now, imagine a store that doesn't sell graphic novels. I mean, everything changes. Everything is so different. But even before I was selling comics, I was a comic book advocate. I grew up in a household that had comics because my older brother read comics. And I thought it was weird to find people who didn't read comics. Come to find out that was most everybody else in the world at the time. But I was always pushing comics on people. And in 1988, when I was about to be a junior in college, I worked at a frame store. And I was pushing comics on everybody there. And there was this woman I worked with, I think her name was Vicky. Was it Vicky?
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
so
I don't know why I was asking you. You were 9 years old, and I wouldn't meet you for years.
I wasn't buying comics at a frame shop when I was 9 years old.
So I gave Vicky a couple of comics to read, and they included The Question, number 18, by Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cohen, and Animal Man number 5 by Grant Morrison and Chaz Trude.
Those are good picks. Those
books, at the time, in 1988, they blew my mind. The Question was Vic Sage and Oliver Queen fighting drug runners, but discussing the Zen reasoning behind wearing masks. And Animal Man was the Coyote Gospel, and it was an animated coyote who came to life in the comic book, who was trying to confront his creator for all the suffering that the creator caused, only to have the creator say, oh no, you don't know what suffering is. Let me show you what suffering is. And I thought, if you don't read comics, you're gonna open your mind to a whole new medium. You don't even know what is out there. And I had asked Vicky over and over, did you read them? Did you read them? And she eventually said, yeah, they were exactly what I expected. Comics are never exactly what you expect, and that's their point. They don't have to be. They're always going to change. And that was what we faced back then, but no longer.
Yeah, nowadays comics are so accepted, so read, so enjoyed. It's a thing that over a New York Comic Con and over industry events and over times at your booths and your panels and just walking the floor, you'll have discussions about the industry and you'll have discussions about comics and your place within them. But the thing that maybe I want people to take away, if nothing else, from this weekend, from this time at the New York Comic Con, is that the books are good. The books, almost as a medium, are good, and they're bringing in more people than ever before, and people are engaging with these comics at a level that I've never experienced before. When I was younger, and I was working at a different store, and I was rearranging it, and this is early 2000s maybe.
Not Challengers.
Not Challengers. It was a traditional comic shop. Things were, the superhero books, and you had a few graphic novels, and you had a bunch of back issues. And I'd had an idea of trying to bring in an audience that wasn't the traditional superhero Marvel DC weekly comic book buyer. And I wanted to hopefully reach out to people that weren't reading comics normally. So I tried to emulate a bookstore, which is, at the time, was kind of not how people were designing comic shops. So I broke everything down into genres. You'd have a horror section, you'd have a sci-fi fantasy section, you'd have different sections for hopefully an audience that isn't steeped in comics, that doesn't have the thing in comics that makes you care about them from a very young age. And I was talking to my mom, and she asked me, who is this store for? Who would this target audience be? And I said, well, basically you, an adult who's maybe never read comics that goes into a comic shop and wants to find their way through this medium. And she laughed a little bit, and, it's my mom. She loves me, and she wants to support me. And she wasn't laughing at me, but she was kind of laughing at the idea that, she would be interested. And she said, well, I don't read comics. I'm not going to shop at a comic store. My mom, in 2025, 80 years old, regularly emails me and calls me asking me to get her comic books. She'll see stuff on TV, or she'll see stuff in a magazine, And she'll say, she'll remember that I own a comic shop and I have these things, and she'll ask me to get them for her, and I will say, of course I will. And again, this is a woman who didn't need me to, shape the way that she looks at comics. She just had to get into a world where comics were for everyone and for 80-year-old women who did not read comics normally and can now find things in the medium that are just for her, that speak to how she wants to experience a story. And that stuff is amazing.
Not only does she read them, she wants to talk about them. And that's why we are Challengers Comics and Conversation, because we want to talk to you about the books you're reading, because the best comics that are being made right now. And I just realized that my font choices did not carry over into the slides. Slightly disappointing.
Don't judge us for the fonts. Just this moment up here. Let's share this together. Don't look at the screen.
It was a Richard Starkings font, if that holds any weight with anybody.
Oh, okay.
But literally, we're at a point now where the best comics are being made now, and no matter who you are or what you do, there's a comic you're going to love. And here's the thing. You all know this. You're here at the New York Comic Con because you know this, but we get to teach this and tell people who come into the store all the time, and we get to foster their excitement and say, let us find a book that's for you, because it's like getting a tattoo. You get one, you got one. You get two, then you're getting a bunch. So once you get to that second book, you're just going to keep going. But that's what we deal with when we get adults into comics today. It's a lot different with kids. Kids grow up with comics. It's like, Batman has always been in the world since I've been alive. Superman, Spider-Man have always been in the world since I've been alive.
The most amazing thing when talking to parents who bring their kids into a comic shop for the first time, and I've heard this for years, this is not a new development, this is since I was younger. Every single parent who brings in their kid will tell me that their kid is into Spider-Man, and to a parent, they cannot explain how or when their kid got into Spider-Man. These are parents that are not comics fans, they are not trying to teach their kids about Spider-Man, they will just have a kid that suddenly knows about Spider-Man and needs Spider-Man things in their lives. It's weird. If anyone is a parent here, I assume you all read comic books and you've had your kids read comics. If you know any other parents whose kids learned about Spider-Man in a way outside of them, investigate this for me. Investigate it for us. We're challengers. You'll find us on the internet. I gotta know. I gotta know how these kids are finding out about it. Is it a genetic thing? Is it brain waves? I gotta know.
My physical therapist, who does not read comics, and I have given her comics, just showed me a picture of her 2-year-old wearing a shirt with a bunch of Marvel superheroes on it. She doesn't even know why he has that shirt. But the first thing I had to do was tell her exactly who drew each character. I had to let her know it was a Jim Strangle Captain America. It's what I have to do. But just the other week, we had a Montessori school ask if they could bring all their kids in as a field trip. Can you imagine being a kid and getting a field trip to a comic book store? We didn't have that.
That
That's
would be
amazing.
like a field trip to meet actual Santa Claus.
And when these kids come in, to them it's commonplace to be there. It's not a unique or rare occurrence.
Yeah, the Montessori teacher had asked me, since I was the one working there, can you maybe talk to the kids about comic books? Can you explain a little bit about them? To these kids, I was in the way. They just wanted the comic books. They already were there. I was wasting their time. They had a limited amount of time, and so they just... polite questions, but they were very already picking up Dogman books. They were already picking up Babysitter's Club books. They were already ready to go for comics.
When I first started selling comics, if you looked out the front window and you saw somebody walking up the block in a Batman t-shirt, they were coming to the comic store. Now, you see the Batman t-shirt and it could be from anything. I remember buying my first Batman t-shirt at Marshall Fields in '89. It was $35. $35 in '89 was a fortune.
It was almost $89.
Yeah. Now, you get the most obscure character t-shirts at any big box store, and it's commonplace. There's no judgment. There's no, do you even know who that is? It's just on a shirt at Target, and you can buy it at Target. It's amazing, and it's a world that it's so exciting to live in.
Yeah, seeing someone wearing a Guardians of the Galaxy t-shirt is like seeing someone wear a yellow t-shirt. It's just something to wear on a t-shirt. It's just something they like.
Look at the screen for your next bit.
And that's one of the most amazing things is how the comic readers are everybody. The people who come into our shop, I can't speak to every shop, but our shop, they look like everybody. There's no one style of comic book reader. Everyone is kind of reading comic books. And what's so special about that is that they're not reading the same comic books. They're not interacting with the industry in the exact same way as everybody else. Everyone's kind of emotional and mental and even spiritual buy-in to the medium is so unique to them, and the industry is good enough to support that, and the medium is healthy enough to allow people to find their own way into comics, to have just a sliver of the medium that we would see from above to them as the entirety of it, and it's more than they can even read. There's all these things waiting for them that are just so available and so generous in a medium to have that many ways into it.
I said earlier that the first store we worked in was 400 square feet. At that point, those 400 square feet could basically contain everything that was being put out at the time. 10 years ago, we opened what we call Sidekicks, which is an all-ages room that's part of our store that in itself is 400 square feet. And it's a wonderful full circle moment for us, realizing like this is what everything used to be. Now this is just the all-ages room, just the smaller version of Challengers for kids.
Yeah, just the stuff for kids up to like age 12 is what the entire industry would have to offer 35 years ago.
It was a thing that we never had growing up, so we made it for the kids today. And what we're telling you about what we do at our store, it's no different than what every retailer does at all their stores all over the world. And it's so great to be in a medium where you can do that and have so many different people championing the same thing. It's just amazing.
Challengers, you know?
Yeah. And comics are still being made by everybody. The best comics of the future are made by creators we don't even know yet. And it's really important for us, and I think for everybody, to spur on their local community, to foster the growth, to work with the artists, to use the local artists. We have our local artists we hire them to do everything for us. Our business cards, we give away bookmarks with every graphic novel. We have different bookmarks made every couple of months. Store t-shirts, always hiring somebody new because we want to be able to say, oh, that person is going to do great things, and they get to do great things for us. It's amazing to have local creators doing what they do because comics are the best form of expression. Comics are the thing that when something's in your head and something isn't right, you just need to work it out. You work it out on paper with a pencil or a pen. And you put all your feelings down, and it's such an easy medium for anybody to look at that and say, I know what you're going through. And it's easier to understand than the written word. It's easier than movies. And everybody can do it. And we're at a point now where more people than ever before want to do it. And we want to see that. We want to see everybody making their own comics. It's just the best form of expression.
Yeah, and I am, like a lot of you who maybe work in retail, I am every week unpacking books. I am every week shelving comic books and graphic novels. And I can tell you this, every single week of comics has something in it that I'm excited about. Every single week is somehow better than the week before. Every month of comics is better than the month before. Every year of comics is better than the year before. It's only getting better. The books are only getting more exciting. The creators are only getting more diverse. You are, as an industry, as a medium, making something that is consistently better. The line for creativity is always going up. It's nuts. No other industry has that. It's insane.
And what we want out of the comics industry is to keep making good comics. It's not a goal. It's already happening right now. So just keep doing it. That's what we want. We want it to continue. We want comics to be accessible to everyone like they are now. And we want to be able to introduce people to books that don't even exist yet that we get to champion in the future.
Yeah, it's the best part of what we do as our job is to be able to talk to people about comic books. That's one of the things that we love coming to conventions for, is just being able to talk to people about comic books. It's something we love doing as a job every single day. because the comics are so good, the books are so good, and everyone who's making comics is doing such a great job. The industry is a problem. It's always a problem. It's been a problem for as long as it's been around. We will all complain about the industry this weekend, just like we do when we get home. We will do it at our jobs. We will do it to our friends.
We'll do it immediately once we get off the stage.
I will probably do it as soon as I get off the stage if you corner me. I don't mean to do it. It's not because I hate comics. It's because I love comics. But the thing is, the medium is separate from the industry. The medium is great. The industry kind of works to serve the medium, not the other way around. And if the medium is healthy, if the medium is this good at bringing in new people, the industry will kind of solve itself. It will sort of have to. What's great about how many people are reading comics now and coming to stores and coming to creators and coming to all these events is that they are telling the industry what they want it to be and how they want it to look. And we will respond to that as an industry because we don't really have a choice. And that's great, because that means that if they're telling us how they want it to look, to buy more comics, to be more engaged with it, we just kind of have to do that. And that's the correctable step. The thing that's already happening is the books are good. And as long as the books are good, the rest of it is, we will get there in time. We will eventually get there. But the books are good, and that's the important part.
It is a true honor to stand up in front of this cross-section of the entire industry, from the creators, from the publishers, from the distributors, from the printers, from the journalists.
From the people running the convention.
To the convention people. Every aspect of the comics industry is important, and for us to be asked to stand up and talk to you has been amazing. Have a great rest of your show. Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
Initially, my plan for this podcast, this episode, was to start with a speech, do a quick little recap of the show, and then maybe drop in the aborted version of the speech.
Okay.
But we've already got
we're so far beyond that.
Yeah.
Time wise.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
We're well past.
This is such a long episode.
We're well past where we'd be for a normal episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, the speech was well received.
Yeah, I was happy with how we did, and it seemed like the people who heard it were happy with it, both people we know and strangers. Alex at ReadPop seemed to think that he got his money's worth. So
and I think we talked about this last week, but we had a different take of what we were going to do, and we recorded it and sent it to David Harper for a critique, and he was very direct and honest about,
which is what we wanted.
Yeah, exactly why we sent it to him.
Yeah, sometimes when we tell this, I always feel like I need to tell people what we gave him was nowhere near what we considered our final draft. What we gave him was no pun intended, a sketch of an idea.
Yeah.
Looking for him to tell us are we on the right track or do we need to go a different direction? His advice was basically
you're not on the right track.
There's a thing in here that is sort of the right track, and it's so buried that you need to make that the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was okay, well that's good.
Yeah. His note was perfect. And then what I was actually kind of proud of is that, because this is all a week ago Tuesday, we did the run through, sent it to David. He listened to it immediately, called me right away to say, here's what I think. I got a hold of you and said, this is what's going on. So then we're all right, well, if we were going to do what he said, it would be, and we just riffed it.
More or less, yeah.
And that became the structure of what it was.
Right.
And we knew from the beginning, all right, we don't have a good intro for this. We're not starting right.
Right.
But once we get into it, and then I came up with what I thought was a better way in, and you broke it down to here's our key points, and then we spent a whole amount of time thinking, well, there's this massive screen we were told about.
Right.
We need to have a
visual component. There's got to be.
And I'd never built a PowerPoint deck before, so spent a lot of time building the deck, but then that became keyed to things we were saying in the order in which we were saying them.
Right.
Which actually helped, I think, give it a path.
Yeah, it was a little harder to do in person because someday maybe in the next episode or something, maybe we'll put in the aborted version. Not the aborted version, but the dry run that we did.
Yeah.
No, not even There's the first one.
No, the first draft of this new.
Yeah. Because there's the first one that you sent to Harper, and what his major note was like, it just sounds like an episode of the podcast. You don't really have a point. It's like, okay, that's valid. The second one had a point. The thing that made the second one easier to do than the one that we were doing on stage wasn't even the presence of people or anything. It was with basically like the slides made it have to have a structure that was harder for me at least to adhere to. Like things where even if I know what we're talking about and I know what the topic is, you and I have a rhythm where I'm able to kind of find where I want to go with it and maybe a better way to say it. But when it's like we have to get from A to B to C to D, like you have to land exactly at B. It's like I feel like I don't think I did a bad job or anything.
No.
But it was less comfortable for me to do it than it would have been to not have the slides. But the slides are necessary.
I think here's why. I listened to that take like a dozen times. You didn't.
Yeah, it's true. I did. I think I listened to it one more time to do the breakdown, and then I sort of stayed away from it because I didn't want to get it too in my head, because I didn't feel like even what we gave on the second draft was like perfect in every way. It was more like when I'm there and there's energy in the room, I'll probably feel a different way about saying different things, and I'll probably let it come out a different way.
Yeah, and there were things that because I was doing the slides, I would listen to it before I went to bed. I'd listen to it at different points from the day. I listened to it going to bed again. So I listened to it a lot, and then I listened to it point by point to build the slides.
Right.
And some of the slides were keyed to things that you specifically said. So when we're doing the speech, and what really helped was I'd printed out just the main points, but in bold red, I would just list what the slide was going to be.
Sure.
So I knew where we were. But so some of the slides were keyed to things you said. When you didn't say those things, I would then go in and say it.
Sure.
Because I knew what it was supposed to be.
Right.
And like there's you had some really good points you didn't get to the second time, but I got to take them.
Great.
And then you got to do some whole, like, you went on to, like, I'll go deeper into this section, which we didn't do before, which is fine. And honest to God, if we give this speech 5 times, it's going to be 5 different speeches with the same bullet points.
Right.
I'd never done PowerPoint before, and I didn't know that there's only a select number of fonts you could use, because when I opened it, it showed me my whole font library. So I built it out with very specific fonts that then they didn't have on their version, so it reverted to just the most simple, basic Atmos.
I think we mentioned that, I think, in the speech. I think
Yeah.
we vaguely mentioned that the font isn't right. Please don't judge us for it.
There was a monitor we could see, and I made a point through. I just said, "Oh, well, they did. They heard it. They heard it." I didn't have to say what it was. But what really helped me during the speech was, while you were talking, I could look at the sheet to see where we were.
Oh, Patrick, I did the same thing.
Yeah, and it wasn't great because we'd have to, like...
I didn't have to go through the whole speech. I could just take a little break, and you're doing your thing, and I'm like, all right, where do I come in at? And I'd sort of wait for where I felt like your pause was happening, or where I'd see on the sheet, like, okay, that's the last part of Patrick's thing, and then I would sort of do my thing.
Because I think
it felt like we weren't talking over each other like we are right now.
Yeah. I think we're both good public speakers.
Yeah, I don't think either of us have a problem speaking in public. Like, I don't have any anxiety about that. Of all the major things in my life that I have rampant anxiety about, sometimes crippling, I don't give a shit about talking in front of people.
But we're not the kind of speech people that memorize a speech and give it verbatim. We're not actors.
I think I mentioned this to you and maybe to other people. Like, if it had just been me, I probably would have maybe tried to write something out.
Yeah.
I would have been comfortable doing that, and I probably would have practiced it a little bit more. But I think when there's 2 of us, I don't want both of us working off of a script, because then it becomes the problem of who's writing it and who's writing for who, and how do you both get something like that done? It's like, it's better to just, and again, we've done so many of these that I think...
And we both know our natural rhythms.
Yeah, exactly. If it was you and let's say Morgan Perry on stage, it would probably be something you'd have to write out. You would not be able to easily riff. And if it was me and Morgan, it would be the same thing.
I'd also let Morgan write it, because she's way better than we are.
Yeah, I would absolutely just let her tell me what to say. But if it's you and me, I know, essentially, like in a performance aspect, how to trust you with your half of it, and you know how to trust me with my half of it. and we know that what's going to come out of it is going to be at least be like intelligible, even if it's not like the most concise or brilliant thing anyone's ever said.
And I do think that the spontaneity of us when we talk together is more entertaining than us reading prepared statements.
For sure. But the speech went well. We heard good things from people. We spent a lot of time right after our speech talking to a lot of people.
Which was great.
Which was really fun. So much so that we missed the hot dogs that were being given out at the mixer. And we had we wanted, there were two speakers after us, Courtney from Tiny Onion and Pornsack, who we're huge fans of as a writer. And so we wanted to make sure that we were front and center for their speeches as they were for ours.
Courtney Menard's speech was, she's the production manager for Tiny Onion.
Okay.
And her speech was about her love of physical media.
Yeah, and it was great. It was really passionate, well delivered.
Yeah, I told her afterwards, I felt like she was talking about my house.
Yeah, and I mean, for that crowd, like I think you're going to find never an easier crowd for physical media than a whole bunch of comic creators and comic publishers.
Yeah.
And then Pornsack had a really great one about community, including a history of the water brand Liquid Death that I'd never heard before, which is pretty cool.
I actually knew the history of that.
I learned something. Like him, I assumed it was like a beer or something, and then I had found out years later, like, oh, it's a water. So we wanted to be present for their speeches, and then people came up to us and we were talking to them, and then finally we realized, like, oh boy, it's been like an hour. I really got to get some food before there's no food left. All the hot dogs are gone. We got some tacos.
I wanted the tacos from the start.
I thought the tacos were delicious. They were so good. The only thing that drove me insane, and I will talk about it here and hopefully for the last time ever.
And Dal, let me just tell you, you are right too.
Amongst the fixins that were offered to dress your tacos, no shredded cheese, which just I kept looking around like I must have missed it already.
Amongst the fixins were just different salsas.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, no shredded cheese.
No cheese, no lettuce, no sour cream.
What the hell, Javits?
Also, the tacos were very wet.
Oh, but that's why they were so good. They were so juicy, man. Oh man, it was nuts. They were real good. I had 2 of the tacos. They were great.
I also had 2 tacos. But this mixer that was supposed to go to 10 kind of wound down shortly after 9.
Yeah. Which, did we do something afterwards? Can't remember.
Yeah, we went home.
Oh, yeah.
Well, to the hotel.
That's true. Can't remember if we did anything else. Like every convention, especially out of town ones, everything's a blur. I have no idea what days anything is happening on. That was Thursday. Friday was basically like our obligations after Thursday night were pretty much done. We had some people that we were going to meet up with, but like our obligations to Repop and the retail community were pretty much done Thursday night.
Friday morning, we split up. I had a podcasting panel to go to.
We got some breakfast and we went to the convention center. Patrick had stuff. I had stuff. We eventually met back up for stuff like the DC AEW panel.
I do want to say that. Oh, no, the first thing I had to do was meet wrestlers.
Yes. I went to the
other Hasbro panel.
Hasbro Action Brands panel or whatever, a much smaller panel room that was for Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Ghostbusters. I was obviously there for the Transformers stuff, which was not a lot of Transformers news because, as they said, they have a whole bunch of other shows that Hasbro's presenting at over the next few weeks. So a lot of what would normally have been a slate of New York Comic Con announcements is now New York Comic Con and the MCM show at London, and some other show coming up after that, something in Europe, I think.
But because I was doing, I went to Pro Wrestling Tees for a little bit. Then I had the podcast panel. We just split up. Mm-hmm. And so this was my first time to walk the show floor. And I hated being on the show floor. It was daunting. So crowded. It was so packed. It was so miserable. I found a cute little stand of a woman who does geeky embroidering stuff.
Yep.
And stuff we may start carrying at the store because it was neat. About a embroidered Doctor Who coaster.
Yeah, it's cute.
But then I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm going to go back down to Artist Alley because that is where I feel safe.
Yeah. So we eventually met up and we did the DC AEW panel. They were talking about the upcoming 2-issue DC AEW miniseries that they've got coming out. They had Steve Orlando and Lucas Meyer? Travis Mercer.
Lucas Meyer's in the crowd.
Artist.
Yeah, he was in the crowd, but he wasn't on the stage.
And then they also had a variety of AEW wrestlers. They had John Moxley. They had Willow Nightingale. They had Orange Cassidy. They had Swerve Strickland. And they also had Tony Khan.
Tony Khan, TK.
Who was there
Always
to
the back, call him TK.
Who was there to make it official? The presenter for the panel was not great. I felt like she was not super familiar with either DC Comics
definitely
or
had
AEW
a script
programming.
and was definitely reading off.
Was provided a few topics to bring up.
Yeah.
The questions were good, and the wrestlers made it good because their job is to kind of take subpar material and then turn it into something really great.
But they all answer them thoughtfully, some in character, some real fun.
Yeah, like, they answered them in the way that you would want them to, and that, like, Willow is very upbeat and goofy and fun and light. Orange Cassidy is laconic and kind of, like, comedically disengaged.
What was the question?
Oh, so one of the first questions it was basically what they would do frequently is, like, one question
for
that each
everybody
panelist would answer.
Yeah.
So the question was,
not the comic creators, just the wrestlers.
Yeah, oh yeah, like they would basically get to Swerve, who was the last of the wrestlers, and then they would loop back around to Moxley. But the question was, like, what was your first formative memory of either wrestling or comics? And that was the problem with a bunch of the questions, was that they just wrestling or comics. But it's like, well, it's different for one or the other, and there's no saying that, like, these are wrestlers, so obviously their formative wrestling memories are going to be important because it put them on a pathway for their career. Some of them may not be that steeped in comics or may not care about whatever. Like, it felt like a weird formulation for the question that was only there because DC is part of this. Yeah, it might as well have just been an AEW panel.
Orange Cassidy famously wears aviator sunglasses, so you can never really see his eyes.
Right.
And he always leans back, has his feet up on the table. He's very relaxed.
So the question gets down to Orange Cassidy, and Willow had given, John Moxley gives his thoughtful answer, his slow, semi-menacing, thoughtful answer. Willow gives her upbeat, still pretty thoughtful, almost oversharing answer. It gets to Orange, and he just goes, I don't remember the question anymore, so I will yield my time. And then
the moderator repeats the question, like, so do you have a formative memory of comics and wrestling? No.
And then Swerve is next. He says, I'll take it from here, buddy. And Swerve gives his long, thoughtful answer that is charismatic. And then, of course...
It was really funny.
It was a good panel, and...
I really like the way John Moxley answers questions.
Yeah.
If you want to go back and watch his Hey EW episode, because he doesn't want to be doing it, but he thinks about every question, he thinks about what he says, and he says everything in a kind of the same cadence.
Yeah.
A deep, like, not a growl, but just his slow speaking voice.
Again, slow, thoughtful, menacing are the three ways that I would describe John Moxley's delivery.
But he doesn't, like, if it's a joke question, he gives it a serious answer in that tone.
But even then, like, it's not like he doesn't get the joke or he's, like, angry at it.
Yeah.
He knows what his character is and what his energy is. And, like, he had some good laugh lines. Like, there's a great one where the question was, like, who in DC Comics do you think you could outwit as a wrestler? Like, in a wrestling match. And Moxley was the first one. And someone from the crowd shouts, Peacemaker. Which is real funny.
Yeah.
Because in case you didn't remember it, Peacemaker is played by professional wrestler John Cena.
Yeah.
So the crowd's cracking up, and Moxley's smiling a little bit. He goes, yeah, that'd be easy fucking money. And yeah, like...
They also asked, who would you most want to team up with?
Yeah.
And Willow, who is teaming up with Wonder Woman in the comics, says, Wonder Woman. Because they were going the opposite way. And then it's Moxley's turn. He goes, yeah, actually, Wonder Woman too.
Yeah, because she's got a lasso of truth. And a lot of people in wrestling are full of shit. It's like...
I want one of those.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Darby Allin comes in to fight John Moxley to further their feud.
Yeah, I got a question for John Moxley. Do you really think I'm going to fucking tap out? Grabs a glass, smashes it over his back, dives over the table. They wrestle underneath the RJ City, runs out, breaks it up.
Good news, everybody. You can see them wrestling at AEW Wrestle Dream on Saturday, October 18th.
It was way better than a wrestling comic book panel had any right to be.
Yeah, it was real good. And honestly, they gave us a preview of the DC AEW comic, which is goofy as shit. And it knows it's goofy as shit. And I thought it was actually pretty good. It opens up with Excalibur teaming up with Booster Gold
on commentary,
to give commentary for this insane crossover. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. That was pretty much it for you and I at the show on Friday, because you had a thing you had to go to, and I had already waited an entire day to go see Tron Ares, which I'd desperately been wanting to see.
Yeah,
So,
he would
that was
have
it.
seen it twice by then.
I would have definitely gone on Thursday had I not had prior commitments, even though I still
You
thought
were
about
going to
it.
go to the Wednesday night.
Still thought about it.
There was the Wednesday night
Double feature.
Yeah.
That I don't know if there's probably one in the city. It wasn't at an AMC, but I think there's a Regal off Times Square that I probably could have gone to.
If anybody follows me personally on social media or the store's account on Instagram, they have access to what I did.
Sure.
I got to hang out with my literal oldest friend.
Yeah. And then that was it for us Friday. Today, Saturday, we took an entire day again off from the show. Did some food stuff, did Times Square. I went to the Tamashii Nation store and got a exclusive to the Tamashii Nation store. Kamen Rider Saber Brave Dragon form metallic version, which is only $60, which is a sweet deal. We walked around a little bit.
Went to Midtown Comics
and got to see what that was like, the Midtown and Times Square.
Well, if we talk about Midtown, it'll be in a different episode.
Right. Just kind of bullet points.
Yeah.
And then we split up for a little bit again. We actually got some lunch, and then we split up again, and then we met up with Morgan, Kaiju/Dynamite pairing.
We had a dinner with Morgan and a colleague of hers from Square Enix, and then a colleague from Yen Press.
Yep.
Talked a whole lot about manga.
Which is great. I mean, like, if I got three people who work in the manga industry, I'm going to pick their brains a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think it was a very informative dinner. And when we come to these things, like we were telling them, we want to learn. We want to meet people that are going to challenge our ideas and give us suggestions.
Yeah,
and
like, it's fun to hang out with Morgan in any context. She's personable and she's friendly, but more than anything, she works in an aspect of the industry that I don't have as much knowledge or confidence in, as far as my ability to monetize it and serve its audience. So I desperately want to talk to people like that to find out, like, because they're seeing an aspect of the industry that is foreign to me. So I want to know more about it. I want to know more how I can, like, leverage what they know to make my job easier and also more successful.
And I also always feel in that situation when someone's buying us dinner that they get their money's worth. Like, they
you do feel that way,
right? And I know that Morgan is our friend,
right?
And we're hanging out as well,
right?
But if her company is sending her there,
right,
I want her to get from us what she wants as far as information or our sales goals.
Yeah, I mean, I never feel like that's as much of an issue for the people that we're with as you think it is, mostly because, like, they can ask me what if they're treating, they can ask me whatever they want. Again, much like the Alex thing from ReadPop, if you're paying, I'm working for you now.
Yeah.
If they're not asking any questions, I don't feel like I'm not doing my job. You know what I mean? Like, if it's just me talking, that's me talking. I'm not taking your money, Patrick. No. I know what happens next. Put that dollar bill away. I'm not that cheap.
I was literally trying to hand out $1. And if he took it, I was just going to say, "You're working for me now. Dance."
So post dinner, we came back here to record the podcast for the week.
And we're at an hour 16 without even counting the 20 minutes of the speech.
I remember as we were walking back here, Patrick was like, "No, we'll just do half an hour for the podcast." Okay.
I did say that.
Okay.
But then Dal told an hour story about a car ride.
Part of me feels like I'm still in that car somewhere circling.
Well, so yeah, we are, like we said at the start of this, we don't know how we're going to get home tomorrow.
Yeah, Sunday's a bit of a question mark. I think we have a very late episode that you're listening to right now, and B, a very long episode after that, as we tell very long stories about how exactly we got back from New York to Chicago.
Well, the good news is if you've heard this podcast, we made it.
Oh, that's cool.
We made it
Proof
back.
of life.
Yeah. I had something I was going to end on, but I don't quite remember what it was. And at this point, I guess it's unnecessary. Dal, how did we end our speech?
Oh, you said thanks for listening, and then
you said,
what did I say?
I want a taco. Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. And help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.